Good morning and welcome back to another episode on the Coin King channel. It's your girl down the crypto TA. Seeing a little bit of a pullback in the market today. I call it a little bit, but I can feel your pain. I can feel your pain. Okay, so we have taken out the low from that wick, at least on the Bitcoin dollar index chart. So I tend to use this chart a little bit more when we get into the higher time frames. It just gives you a lot more data than, let's say, a Coinbase or a Binance or something like that. Of course, you know the Binance wick sits a lot lower. Um, and I'm not sure how that's going to go with the Binance charts. But again, we have taken out the low here. And I just put out a tweet this morning. It must have been around about 3 something, somewhere around in there. But just letting you know that for the first time on the 1 hour and the 4 hour time frame, I'm starting to see that some accumulation is taking place from those two time frames. We didn't have that at all during this entire drop. It's specifically not the 4 hour time frame. So that is starting to show a little bit of some sort of accumulation as we got into this zone and we took out that low. I saw a drop in our Bollinger, which tends to indicate accumulation. Okay, so we do have that. We'll be looking for some sort of bounce to come in at some point in here. We're already trying to hold a level. Momentum is still not quite there, so I am saying, be a little bit patient in here. I don't know. I don't know if the sentiment or the mood is even there for crypto right now, because so many. I mean, of course, we knew that we were going to come back down and at least fill in some of that wick, if not all of it. So um, I put that tweet out back when we got it. Now we are below one of the levels that I was looking at in here. We are slightly below that. That doesn't really mean anything. What I'm gathering from the daily time frame is that there's a little bit of weakness in the lows. So there's weakness in the lows and there's weakness in the highs. That still remains the same as when we got this push up and I said weak high on the daily. I'm on a weekly chart right now, but I did tell you there's a weak high on the daily. It's the 4 hour chart that was giving the momentum at the time. And that 4 hour chart is going to give that momentum once again here. So be on the lookout for that because that is on the horizon right now. And I've shared this multiple times too, every time we come up in here and we get the rejection, and also on the USDT dominance. That has also been the thing that I've encouraged people to take a look at. Even though I have not wanted to take any shorts, I have still shared the information that I see in the chart, and I have let you know when we were possibly at some resistance and when we're possibly at some support. So it's just not in my forte right now to want to short Bitcoin, even regardless. Even with this move right here, I said this is probably going to be a rejection. I didn't take the short. It was a rejection. It is the support level for USDT dominance at this point, as you can see back in here. And I posted on this as well multiple times that this level right here has held, and I did say that if we break it, and we have been watching for this measured move right here to take place for a couple of months, so that finally did come to fruition. You can see that we basically, well, pretty much hit the target up in here, and we are at the resistance zone right now for USDT dominance. So somewhere closer to around this top line in here. If I just squeeze this in a little bit in here, you can see the rejections that took place around here. You got one here, you have that one there, and then you have this one over here. So we are within a zone of resistance for USDT dominance. I like to focus on the tops and the bottoms in here, and then sometimes we will cap out in the center, but I like to focus on the tops and the bottoms. So that's what we have going on in here. Just like you can see right here, it's low. We hit a little bit of resistance, and that's going to be because of this in here, and then where you see these little points in here. So we are at some resistance. Okay, so just be a little bit patient with Bitcoin. Do I think it's a great time to accumulate? You probably want to wait on that. Personally, if you want to take a trade, really low leverage, I don't see a reason to not want to do that. In terms of the charts coming lower, I do expect for the charts to come lower. So back at Bitcoin chart, what I've kept you up to date on for the past several months, because I've said I just want to I want to make sure that you're prepared. I think the last video I did on talking about this was about a month ago, and I actually put that back out yesterday. But you can see right here, this is where Bitcoin has bounced from before. And that's going to coincide down here around where we have the golden pocket sitting at as well. So that's drawn from this low to this high in here. Now, where does the bear market zone begin at? The bear market zone begins in here. And I've shared this with you multiple times too. So around your 68,000 down to your 49,000, that should be your bear market lows in here, your golden pocket, your 786, but you don't tend to go lower than the previous low in here. So 49 is going to be the cap out. If that changes, I will update this and I will let you know, but that's what I'm looking at right now. Looking for a little bit of a bounce to come in around the point that we are right now, but in terms of the continuation down, we would be looking somewhere down in here. We still have that gap down there as well, so I know that that's a thing for a lot of people. And if we get here and we don't bounce, then we know that we're, what to expect. I mean, this is a broadening formation. This has been on my chart since 2024. It's been on my chart since then. And it is, again, broadening. That means that, bulls think the price can go higher. Bears say, I think you're overvalued. And that's how broadening formations are created. It's just a matter of who thinks the value is worth what value. And then, of course, our long-term trend line down through here. And I think I set this indicator here to a 1, just so I can see what we probably would, see some sort of a bounce or some sort of a cap out in here as well. But just based on market information in here, we have that rising wedge. I'm not on that chart, but I will put us on that one. So we do have the rising formation in here that we're all familiar with at this point in here. I doubled the line in here at one point just to see if maybe it would, try to hold within that double line. That didn't make a difference at all. So in terms of the this formation in here with the rising wedge, that measure move does put price somewhere down in here, which is relatively close to where we would be in our bear. We would start to enter into our bear market low zone, which is where I think a great accumulation place would be for like your long-term hold or your bigger pump to the upside is going to be somewhere down in here for Bitcoin. Let me see if I did not. Okay, I just wanted to make sure. Okay, yep. So that is what I'll be looking at again for Bitcoin. But yeah, rising wedge, clear breakdown. That's drawn from your line chart bias in here. So clear breakdown on that. And I don't know if I still have that measured target in here, and I probably do. I have to move it. I put it based on oh no, I just moved it to the side, I think that's all I did. I just set it to the side so it wasn't, I just pushed it over so it wasn't in the way of the candles or anything like that. But yeah, that measure move does get you down here to take out that low right there. You don't take out this one. You don't take out this one in here. Not based on the chart. This stays, but you will be somewhere down in here. So the levels I have in here, I'm leaving it here. I'm not going to put any other lower levels on because I don't expect for those lower levels to get hit. If something changes, then it changes, and then I have those levels in here to look at. But for now, this would be it. This would be it. And let me just verify. Yeah, so we're down in here. That would be it. Oh, I might need to add another level. We shouldn't. I probably do need to add one, so 49. But I do have those zones in here. Right now it's reading 49,000. For Binance chart, it's reading 49,000. For, yeah, it's both the same. Okay, so no, I'm good. I'm good there. All right, yeah. So that's gonna do that. I'm gonna put this back over. I'm gonna actually put it back on this chart right here. All right, so I'm going to show you And this is your, let me make sure. Yeah, your 60 EMA. So that bounce, this bounce, potentially could see another bounce in here off that 60 EMA once we get this bounce that we're trying to get right now around the, this is just a 382 retracement right here. Yeah, it's just a 382 retracement there. And then that golden pocket down here. And then, yeah, you can see this off of our absolute start of the recovery, a bull market for Bitcoin, that 15,000 something low down there. It's typically where we come back into in here. Let me move out on the chart a little bit. So this is the lowest I was looking at in here. We're trying to get back into it and hold it in here. There is no, again, like I said, on the daily chart, it reads that this is a weak low. It doesn't look like it the way prices is dropping. I know that, but it still reads that this push down into this zone it's not a strong push to the downside. Why is it happening? I mean, you just got a lot of bears in the market right now and they're dominating, but it doesn't read that it's a strong low. No sort of expansion or anything like that. And in fact, if you turn your Bollinger Zone, they're so wide right here. They're very, very wide. So there is no sort in here at all. Price is just here. That's it. So there's nothing we can do about this. This was what I was saying to you when we got this drop down and this recovery, that you would probably likely cap out right in here for a lower high. I mean, you can see the resistance across here. After that, support, resistance, blah, 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 all that good stuff in here. But it doesn't read that it is actually a strong low. You can see right here, you're flat and you're sideways. This is where I told you that it was a weak high coming up, but the 4 hour was the one that was showing the momentum. And you can see how when it's just flat. Just flat. Now you did get a small little bump in here. That's fine, but this is still flat. And I don't read this as any sort of strength in that move. Of course, the MACD has continued to pivot to the downside, and the signal line, it hasn't come back up above that. So, I mean, I'd be looking for this to turn around. No signs of life just yet here on the MACD at all. RSI reads consolidation, because that is what we are. We are consolidating within a larger range in here between that high. And it should be right in here where I have this yellow box at. The consolidation should be between there and here. So I think we're going to end up capturing this zone in here. That this would have been my low for now, right here. But like I said, after this wick, between here and down here for the moment, it's going to be a level of interest right now. But this should theoretically start to mature into a recovery. Some sort of recovery back up. And then, I mean, we can look back at this level right here, around that 111 or so in here, for potentially another rejection, even though we would end up breaking this little trend line right here. If I push out here, you can see what I'm talking about in here. Like, this was the last time we started to show that there was going to be some sort of that there was some sort of accumulation taking place for a little bit of a belief bounce to the upside. That was the last time. And then from here, we got absolutely nothing. It wasn't until we just got this last 4 hour candle close in here that it started to drop on us again. So this does indicate that a push to the upside is brewing. So accumulation is taking place in here. MACD and Delta is still negative at the moment. That's fine. I turned off the RSI over here because it's just a little bit too choppy. So I'm just going to have to wait until we do start to see more of a rise in here out of that. But I think that we're in that space right now for a little bit of a bounce. from Bitcoin. I'm not encouraging anybody to take a loan, not encouraging anybody to take a short. I'm just going to share with you what I see in the chart, and that's what I see. First sign of a relief bounce or some underlying strength coming into Bitcoin. That's all I can say about that. Same thing goes for the 1 hour time frame as well. You can see, and we're starting to light up in here a bit. You can see that right there. Again, MACD, Delta, you're a little bit closer to your zero line crossing here than, I mean, not early, but really. Yeah, just a bunch of chop, but relief bounce nonetheless. Let me take a look at Ethereum here. In no sense in zooming, I'm sticking to the higher time frames for the most part. You know, a little relief bounce on a 4 hour, something like that. I really don't want to zoom out too much. There's no sense in looking at your lower time frames. None whatsoever. Because this move is, it's bigger. It's bigger than zooming in, you know, under the microscope, trying to see what you're doing on lower time frames. It's just, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. Ethereum holding up a little bit better in my opinion. So we do want to see ETH hold in here. Now we have this trend line down in here that I did, and I just, you know, I did it based on the line chart, and then I just extended it out to the wick. I left this last wick out of it, but there's also a consolidation range in here. You can see that right here. This is a zone for Ethereum. So if we do start to lose this zone in here, then I would be looking in here. Maybe we even take the liquidity from here, but some sort of a swoop on this low and then a recovery. That would be the thing for me for Ethereum. But really, honestly, I would like to see Ethereum remain here. And right now it's doing a pretty good job of holding where we have the low at in here. And when you see this X at 37.25, 34 in here, it's not bad. Not bad at all. If it does start to do a run, instead of, you know, a sweep and go, measured move is gonna be down in here between your 1 and 2 in here, and I think that this is just the start of where your bear market zone is. I don't know how likely that is to happen right now. Again, it's holding up pretty well in comparison to what Bitcoin is doing. It's looking pretty good in here for Ethereum, and I think, let's see over here. Yeah, you can see it's holding up pretty well. I mean, despite the, you know, the formation in here on the monthly chart, it's going to look a little bit different in comparison to the monthly chart, especially if you're doing it off of a line bias, which is what I tend to, you know, I have a tendency to do. This one's up a little bit for some reason. Should I go in and change that? Okay, there it is. I don't know why. I'm gonna leave the rest of it alone. If you're looking at it from the monthly time frame, it'll look a slightly different. But I do have some levels in here in which I could see that, you know, Ethereum has held that support. And again, that low on the, let me see if I do. So you can see the range in here and to the downside what that's going to look like, and also what I'm saying to you here about when you come into your bear market lows at too. So if that did play out, you know, instead of a sweep and go, if it did play out to the downside, be looking somewhere in here. I wouldn't expect for this low to be taken out in here, but you can see where your bear market zone starts at 2276. You'd be looking to ride that down. If I did a fib, which I have not, off of this low and up, again, another one that's at the 382. but I would be favoring in here more so towards the 786, and that's just the worst, just me looking at the worst case scenario. What I could tell would be the worst case scenario, unless crypto is absolutely dead, and then we do something different that we haven't done before. But that's, just in preparation, not telling you about the nuke down here right now, just always forward looking at the possibilities of things. So that's what I'd be looking for. And if this changes, I'll update it and I'll let you know. But right now, that would be the base case. Let me put this back on a weekly. Yeah, that would be the base case for it. And we'll take that away just to hide some noise. Let's see if there was anything in here other than that time frame. Nope. That's basically, yeah. And get the same read off of this time frame than one of the other ones. And then Solana, this support level across here for Solana. Let's see if this right here will manage to hold in here. It did the last time. We can just see if it works again. Maybe looking even down here towards your weekly low at 164.78 here. But of course, for Solana, when Solana hits this bear market zone, you're gonna be all the way down here. Yeah, you'll be all the way down here somewhere. But if we can get the bounce in here, great. Let me see if I saw anything in here relevant. Let me just set this back to the line chart so I can see a little bit better. Nothing really. We do still have the, we never managed to invalidate the head and shoulder on Solana versus BTC. But the notes that I have in there for it, those still remain the same. RSI. Could be putting in some bullish divergence in here. And it looks like it. Some bullish divergence. And it looks like the daily chart is gonna attempt to pump up again. I'm just trying to see if that's gonna happen from within this zone, in this box right here, maybe down here at the 164. It could manage to hold somewhere relatively around where the 50% retracement is, but it's somewhere in here based on the read down here that it should manage to hold in here and get a bounce away. I know everybody's probably waiting on this golden pocket tap. I'm going to refrain from thinking about that one right now. Still bearish nonetheless at the moment. But again, it's another one that's holding up pretty good against Bitcoin. So I'm going to lean towards here for potentially maybe another bounce in here off of that zone right there. Let's see. And then you can see where I'm mentioning in here to you where that would be your low, that 95. Yeah, 95 would be your low in terms of the bear market. And the crazy part for this is that this is only coming to the zone once for Solana, at least as far as I can tell on this Binance chart, just this one time. It has thinned out, so that's pretty good. So you don't have this huge range of volatility for it. So it has thinned out, and you're going to start somewhere around 145. Good accumulation zone, in my opinion. Not financial advice, but a good accumulation zone. If you can get prices down into there. But again, right now about 164, I'd probably be looking for a bounce based on that trend line across there. And it looks like head and shoulders, but that's not something we play out. That would be like a zero. Well, I guess I should never say never. That would look like that would send it. Yeah. Nah. That would be crazy. Hmm. Anyway, let me get off this chart. That's discouraging me. Let's see, right now, this is okay. I'm gonna keep my focus in here. Weekly range low for now. That would be the low in here to me for this bounce that potentially could be coming in here for Solana. Some other things in here that I have discussed and been on point. Been on point. Just looking at some of these altcoins versus their BTC pair. I told you Zcash was at resistance. I would be careful with Zcash up here because it is at resistance. If you're taking a position to scalp, I had put this box in here, was waiting for price to come back down into this box, which is just basically these 2 wicks over here, from the body to the low. We're in this box now. Guess we'll see if this right here will manage to hold as some sort of a support level in here for Zcash. But again, even if it does come back up, you're still gonna bang your head into some resistance in here with Zcash. And Zcash could be one of those bombers where it comes down really, really low and start to freak a lot of people out. I mean, these 2 candles right here, these are the largest candles I've seen on this chart, not just for its Bitcoin pair, but also for its Tether pair. Those were some pretty large candles. I mean, it defines a lot of strength, of course, but it really did. It deviated very far outside of standard deviation too, which you tend to always come back into, which is why, it could look bad. And that's based on its Bitcoin pair, based on its USDT pair. I had a couple of levels in here that I wanted you to watch for, but the main thing is this is an ascending broadening formation. This is ascending right here. And so they tend to break to the downside. If you put a measure move on this, and I'm gonna take it all the way down here to this one. All right, so that, does it look crooked? It is crooked. I'm sorry, I can't do that. All right, I mean, that would be the measure move. For this, it would take a lot to get there. A lot. And the notes that I put in here for it, let's see, it's this right here, these 3 right here. And there was a range in here for it. It may not be in here anymore. I guess I don't have it in here anymore, but based on the consolidation range, this was going to be the measured move down in here, which would take out this low right here. If it didn't manage to hold, I can tell from the call outs that I have in here, and I'll let you know a possible break of the momentum high. Once you lose this level in here, you're going to be breaking that momentum high to the upside here. You start to break the momentum to the low in here, and then of course what I was saying about you want to look for a sweep in here, and if you don't get that sweep, then that will give that measure move that's going to send it down here. I don't know what happened to the I don't know what happened to and I really don't feel like going back in here to find it. Let me see daily. Yeah, it was this daily though. Let me just drop that back in here. So yeah, this would be the measured move. Like I said, taking out this low in here would be the measured move. It's so far it's not a sweep, but since it's not a sweep because we closed yesterday. Did we close yesterday below there? No, we're in that candle. So it doesn't confirm until, oh no, never mind. We did close below it. So yeah, I mean, we'll see if that happens. There's a lot of strong sentiment around Zcash right now, so we just have to see if that happens or not. But you have broken your low here from your ascending trend line in here. If it reclaims it, then I'd say it's pretty, pretty decent in here. But my theory is, it can come down. It could come down. So first measure move, second measure move, if the Broadman formation plays out, which again is a bearish pattern. If I take a look here on the monthly, just to see, I mean, that's your first stroke of support in here, to be honest with you. So aside from yeah, I mean, down in here is where you basically have all your support at. I don't think that this candle just chews itself up this month and you get down there. That won't be the case. Let me see this one right here first. And I think that's right. I had to move this out to a higher time frame because it did get a nice squeeze in here for that push to the upside. So this doesn't actually work in here for that. I think it was a 3-month time frame. Yeah. In a 3-month time frame, you'd be looking somewhere back in here around 104. And then yeah, around 104. I just have to leave it at that. It's a pretty good chart though. It's a pretty good chart. You can see the cap out in here. For your Bollinger Band, you're gonna come back into that. You just are. So that 185, you're just gonna come back into it. You deviated too far out. It just tends to be a thing. 121 over here. You don't stay outside like that. You eventually come back inside. So yeah. To think that you're just gonna print this large candle and then another large one is gonna pop out and you're just gonna keep pumping off of this is crazy. But it's a good chart. It's still a good chart. Good token. So far the performance has been there. You come back up, you're just going to come back into some resistance. So I would plot those if you're into Zcash. I just plot those two lines in here. And again, I did mine based on the top line. I did not do based on the line bias. That's just actually the wick. It's just actually the wick, and that's coming from the wicks here to this wick, and then it matched up with where it capped out on that third leg to the upside. Bear div in here on the daily too. If you didn't know that, it does have the bearish divergence on the daily. You can see it here. You can see it here. You can see it. You can even see it here. This tends to not do that, but you can see it in here also. And then not on the MACD, but the MACD was showing like the delta started losing steam in here. Now you're starting to cross below your zero line, which means that the MACD is now negative below its signal line. That's what that reads. So you can see it on multiple indicators, typically indicating that you were either somewhere near or at your fifth wave, because you tend to get bear divs off of a strong move like that, somewhere close to your fifth, if not at your fifth wave, and then you're probably in your ABC correction right now. So you would be looking for prices to come lower on Zcash, unless it does another 4 or 5 or something like that. I'm not an Elliottician. I just know that much, so that's going to be your Zcash. Just sit on your hands if you really want to get into a good position, and don't chase a little small pump on it. Bitcoin is holding up so far right now, so that's cool. All right, same thing is going to go here. BNB. I don't know why I have that going off. I'll let you know we hit our first zone in here for resistance, and then I told you that your second one, you got 1, 2, 3 up here. So if it comes into this level right here, it had the potential to come into here. BNB chart still looks pretty decent overall, even though it did come into the resistance against Bitcoin. You're back inside this neckline, which I don't really care for, but it's a weekly time frame, so I try to give it a little bit of consideration. But I typically don't like when you come back inside of a range. It's actually not a range. It's W formation neckline break is what it was supposed to be. But nonetheless, ever since we hit the resistance against BTC, BNB has not done all that great. Right. And so this is BNB. And the last time we looked at this, I said SFP, very likely, because we were at resistance. So the SFP, I was still hoping on this right here too, though. That 1500, it seemed likely, and nothing has changed over here. Everything is still holding up. You can do your trend line across here if you want to. I had it in here and then I deleted it. I just wanted to focus on the horizontals instead. But you do have an ascending trend line in here for BNB to look at. And these were just the 3 levels in here that I thought were interesting outside of your weekly levels. Just coming back into here again could be your bounce zone, and then of course your bear market zone is going to be down here between 610 and 356, which is going to be a great place to buy it at once we get to that point. But for now, yeah, you're going to be looking for BNB to either hold in here, and if it's not holding in here, we see this break of this trend line, I wouldn't make a big deal out of it. I would just be looking in here because you do have some pretty decent support down in here. Next, it is a break of momentum, no lie. It is a break of momentum, but you can reset momentum. And that's BNB. And if you chose to, I don't know how I really feel about I look at both of them. So that will put it here. If you did a measured move for the double top based on the line bias, that would put it in here. If you did it based on this wick, it looks crazy. That puts you down here in your bear market territory. So yeah, That's what I'll be looking at here and here. Basically, I mean, if this doesn't hold up in here right now, yeah, if that doesn't hold up, that's what I'll be looking at for BNB. Let's see who else we got in here. We got Sui, and of course, I mean, strong reaction off of Sui. That was really good, but we are back to breaking below here, which is to be expected that we would come back in here and eat away at some of this wick. It did drop into its bear market low, so that's a testament to what I'm saying about the cloud on the monthly time frames. If it did more than this, or if it comes in and does more than this, that's different. That's going to be different, and I don't know that I would really want to be in Sui. Right now, I do have a limit order set up for it around the original zone that I was looking at for price to come back into, which is in here. So you know when I said to you, Sui was a good buy in here if you buy it on spot, but with the understanding that Sui was showing it had the potential to drop all the way down into this zone right here is what I said to you a month ago. And it fell on deaf ears. I did repost it. It did get some more views on it, but I said it. I said it. That the chart just looked like it had some problems. Because Sui got two levels. It pumps hard or it dumps hard, and that's it. Once Sui loses momentum, it loses momentum. But I did explain to you also with Sui, it's just one of those things where you got more liquidity on futures than you do on spot. But that was a nice recovery off of it regardless. So I do have limit orders set up in here because I didn't have the limit order set up at first. I told you that I would buy here, I would buy here, and I would buy here, here, and here on the move down just for my accumulation. I didn't have limit orders set on it. So I didn't get executed on anything, but I do have a limit order set now, and I'm just gonna have that set for when price comes back down into this zone. I have that set up right now. And especially if we start to get down in here, then yeah, I want it. I want to be a buyer, and I'm just going to take a loss if it does anything more than what I have set out in here. That's 46, so we shouldn't see us taking out this low. 46 is actually this low right here. That's 46.25. We shouldn't do that. So this 98 to about 67, that's going to be it. And then, you know, I get stuck with it. And that'll be that. I'll get stuck with it. And this level right here again was super important also because this is where Sui supposed to be around the price range where Sui first hit centralized exchanges. So I would think they want to protect that a little bit, but that's the bear market zone right there for Sui. As far as Sui versus Bitcoin. It's a descending triangle. So you got a declining top and you got a flat bottom. So you got a descending triangle. I wouldn't think that Sui would play out. Again, I don't think that Sui would play out that move. I can't say. I mean, versus this Bitcoin pair, it did absolutely horrid. I'm just going to drag this all the way down to the low. I'll stop it right there in the center. No. I don't think that would ever be a thing, especially based on how you saw we just got that nice recovery. I don't think that would ever be a thing, but I'm just saying, like, it is a descending formation, so it is a bearish formation. and you would just be expecting for it to break down. It doesn't, I mean, necessarily plan out that entire thing. It's just something to look at. And so we're losing that zone now because we've been ranging within here. And you saw that from the your anchor VWAP. Let me make sure that's the one. Yeah, from your anchor VWAP, that was just, this was just your zone in here. And now you're starting to lose that zone, that box, and break down. And I just be looking back down here. Accumulation did tend to happen down in here. This was where it's supposed to have held about 3 times in here and rejected about 4 times right up in here. So, I mean, that's silly. Just a little bit bearish right now. It's more like a bear flag at the moment on Bitcoin, but just give it a minute. I'm just looking back over at it. XRP, something like a Broadman formation in here. Possibility of coming back down here to fill in this wick. Naturally, I would be looking in here for support around that 192.18. Because once that's gone, 192.18, you really just have air. You just have a big inefficiency down through here. That's it. A big inefficiency. So just a wide range of volatility in here for it. If it gets to bounce in here, that's going to be great for a move back up into here. As far as the bear market lows go, I think that wick might have, let me see if that wick came to it, or is that, no, close. It came close. So that starts in here at this zone in here at 120, 118. Yeah, so that reads 120 down to about 38, which 38 would not be the target to hit. I would probably look here around 51. 50 seems to be a great level in here for XRP. If just, I mean, just speaking in terms of bear market. All right. We're not doing any of that right now. I'm going to be looking forward to bounce off of this 192 somewhere in there. 192 doesn't hold, and I'm just going to be looking at the lower zone here from the Broadman formation that it has. And that's going to be it. Once we start to get into bear market stuff, I mean, I would start buying some more. I did buy a little bit of it, and I would buy some more of it if it came down into here. Yep. I'm probably not going to get any data there, and I don't. And that tends to happen too, like when, let me just take that away and use the weekly time frame. That's a good example. Let me just show you with the Bollinger, right? So when you tend to, again, deviate far outside of your band, once you come back into it, you start to bear div at that point. Or if you push back up again, you start to reject just because you've already done the expansion. And once you've done the expansion, you really don't have a lot of selling comes in, basically. So just like over here, you got a nice strong push out. So once you come back in and you retest it again, you're likely to reject. On a higher time frame, on lower time frame, you probably can just continue to hold within your standard deviation 1 and 2. But once you do that and you start to break that one, more than likely you're going to be rolling over. It'd be the same situation over here. Nice push out. You held within your standard deviation 1 and 2. You came back up. You retested. You started to break your standard deviation 1. More than likely, you're going to roll down. That's going to be the point where you start to probably see a rise out of your indicator, and then you're going to be looking for price to break below the 20 SMA. That's just naturally going to be the next occurrence. But yeah, whatever this does, it's going to read a weak low, and you can tell when you weak too because you break outside and then you reclaim back in and you don't see an expansion. So that's the other thing. So XRP is gonna read that whatever move it's making here to the downside is not a strong move. End of story. So again, I would be looking somewhere back down here into this zone right here that reads 213 all the way down to 192. 192 would be great support level in here for, and you're already quickly approaching that. But a weak low, yeah, that would be a weak low. And as far as it goes with against Bitcoin, you can see the double top in here, and I did put in a measured move in here for it, which does bring it all the way down into this 526 or whatever. That doesn't really matter in here off of the Bitcoin pair. In my opinion, you are back here at the ascending trend line in here, looking to see if we can't again get support off of that or hold within this range in here. So I think somewhere around that zone that I just mentioned to you on this tether pair would be a good place to see it bounce from initially. And then we'll see how much more of the wick they actually want to eat into. Because you start to, once you lose this right here again, you just got a big inefficiency coming down through here. Just a big empty space. Solana, you recall the head and shoulders in here, and I remember when I first showed it to you, I said don't panic on it. Apparently we should have panicked on it. This is the measured move for that head and shoulders against Bitcoin, but another one that has a nice trend regression line through here. So if it pushes down here, then you would be looking for that to hold. But I mean, Solana's holding up pretty good right now, despite any of this. It is holding up pretty good. And the more this extends, the less likely it will remain a head and shoulders, because that's a pretty ugly shoulder. It'll probably start flagging out in here, something like that. In terms of diversifying, we did take a trade on silver, or at least I did. I said that I was taking it. What's that day? Was that? That was Tuesday or something. Yeah, Tuesday. Was looking at these two levels in here on Tuesday. You can watch the video again. I entered just below the line in here, because this was where it reacted at the last time. It was between here and here, so I entered in here. I bought one time, and then I said that I would buy it again if it came down into here, but it didn't. It actually got to bounce away from there, and I was just looking for it to come up into here. It has to pass that. I was considering selling it. I'm not really feeling the silver chart too much. It's done okay. But there was another entry in here also off of gold that was, I didn't take it. I just mapped it out, and so I was looking at it off of a 15-minute time frame actually the other day, and my capital is still tied up in Nvidia right now, so I couldn't take it. I just wanted to see how it was going to work out, and it did hold up. I mean, it's gold. You can throw money at it, and it was right here, and it had respected it a few times already. So it's like, yeah, it either does that or it comes into here. If it does this, then that's a deeper pullback for it. But it did bounce away from there, and that would have been a good entry. Um, and I started to look at a couple of other things in here too, if you're looking to diversify. But I'm not sure how these are doing. This is just mineral. I don't know what happened yesterday, but these all started to tank, so they probably all broke below. Yeah, pre-market. You're just now coming into the entry right here for you. So we'll see how that holds up, or if that's gonna break. Because if that breaks, then I'll probably be looking down here around 16. Um, it's rare mineral options in here. Let's see. This one, you can already see that did not hold up because pre-market is at 80, and this was the next one that I would be looking at. So I didn't take any of these right here. I'm just looking at them to see, just testing it out. Because I mean, right now, gold and silver, I need to look at platinum and copper as well, which I haven't done yet. So I can see that that's not working out and go back and see what I did wrong on that. MP USAR has an entry down here. That's where I have the entry at for USAR. And that's at 22.89. You do have a gap in here, down here at this zone as well. Taking this little precious time with this one at 26.25, but we'll see how that goes. I didn't have a level, 16 down here. But these just started tanking all of a sudden, so I don't know what the deal is with that. This one may have bounced into it or not already. Pre-market 792. The entry on this one is 781. We'll see how that goes at this level. And then if that's not working, then I'm going to look down here at 699. That would be the last level of interest, somewhere down in here, with about a 5% is what I was putting on all of these. And then I think this was, okay, so these are over the counter right here. So you're really not going to be able to, not really. And then again, this one didn't work out either. It tried to hold it for a little bit of a period, didn't work. So somewhere between 37 and 34 down here on IDR. And then the only other thing in here, this is what I'm looking at for Amazon. Amazon is either hold here, or I'm looking down here for Amazon. And then the worst case scenario for Amazon is going to be down in here. So I'm sitting on my hands and I'm waiting on Amazon to finish, to get this drop on a higher time frame to buy in. It has a nice little trend line down across here that I'd be looking for it to hold. And it's just based on the last move from the low at 80 coming up here to the highs. But that's what I'm watching here on Amazon. I had a couple of bear divs every time, and every time I got the bear div, it got the rejection and the move down. So little red dot. I'm looking for a little green dot to come in down here somewhere. Once I see that, I'll get into it. Unless it does that, I'm not going to be interested in it. So if it bounces away from here, I'm really not going to be interested in it. But you got the first momentum break, and then you got this one right here, and it looks like it's already breaking that one. Now it's just a wick for now, and I guess next week will be the time to really look at it because earnings is going to take place. But I think this is going to be a good play in here for Amazon. Nvidia has bounced off of each one of the zones, but they haven't really haven't really held up. So it's not just the crypto space right now that's seeing a sell off. It's everything, you know. It's everything right now. So, but I would definitely. I see Bitcoin came back down to test that level again. All right, I'm gonna put us back on Bitcoin chart here. Um, Sadness, but everything is just. Somebody talk to their president, please. Please talk to your president. Have to stop this madness. We have to stop this madness. But this in here for NVIDIA. Once that's gone, you know, I got red boxes on both of these anyway. But we did get a bounce away there. We got a bounce away there. We got a bounce away in here. This was the first initial contact with the bounce away, and then it fell through it. You came into this one, you got the bounce away. I guess I'd be looking for a bounce away in this one too, but yeah. Been good for scalping. I've just been looking for the reversal, to be honest with you, and that's just not happening. Same thing over here with Palantir. Had this little trend range in here, but you know, we'll be looking for it to bounce away in here. And then the worst for me is going to be somewhere down in here. I'll be looking for it to bounce away. But yeah, otherwise, I mean, nothing is really looking great except for gold. Except for gold. And at some point, that's going to blow a top. All right, Bitcoin, Bitcoin, Bitcoin. I don't think that momentum ever shifted in here. It didn't. You know how I always say, as long as this is all the way off from here, it's not. Yeah, momentum is bad. You can sit on your hands as long as you see that. As long as you see that, no interaction, you can sit on your hands because it'll just keep rolling. You start to see the momentum slow down once it comes up into it, and then you can look for some sort of a bounce, maybe a little bit of a retracement and then a bounce. But as long as it's far off from it, you can just wait it out. Lots of bullish divergence on these lower time frames, but again, it's not worth um, it's not worth basing basing your momentum off of the lower time frames. If your higher time frames don't have any, just be scalps. I did take this position right here last night. It was actually because of the 5 minute time frame. On the 5 minute time frame, we did this right here. I could already see, you know, the little triangles and interaction, but it was when I saw that I entered on this right here, and then I did sell it right here. And I continued to miss all the best money from not taking the shorts, but for me, it hurts. It hurts everything, especially with dominance up, which Bitcoin dominance may not be all that strong because altcoins are not. Um, bleeding out too bad. Stablecoin dominance is on a tear. A tear. Yeah. Yeah, Bitcoin dominance is not up all that much at the moment. So it's not having a massive effect on altcoins, which is great. It's up, but it's not, it's not crazy. It seems to be missing some details. It should be a zone. The only momentum right now is coming off of volatility. That's our only bullish divergence is coming off of volatility. There's no momentum divergence whatsoever. And this was a possible a possible head and shoulder. This situation right here. I think when I did that, it had it somewhere. Let's see if I still have it in here. I do. And might have deleted the measure move. But that can be drawn out again. I think it was just down here at this low or something like that though when I did it. Okay, so coming up on it. 103,733. Yikes. Let me see if there's any news or anything like that. This market is getting crazy. Everything is looking terrible. looking terrible. I mean, we all know this. I mean, we all know this. And for some reason in here, this is supposed to be the top losers right now. Zcash is the top loser. SGX, Mantle, Morpho, Aster, Cost getting obliterated. Aptos. Let me look at Pump. Mm. I keep forgetting that they have this Tether Gold in here. It's not the it's not the one to get into though. Yeah, just keep sitting on your hands right now. Let's see what CME is looking like. Maybe another 4-hour candle close. We'll see what happens there. If gold gives us an entry, it's going to be a good play. As right now, it is getting a little bit of a pullback in here. Let's see what this potentially would be looking like. I'm going to go ahead and delete this old stuff in here. Let's see. Unless everything is ready to fall at this point. See what gold might have some troubles. At least off of this 1 hour. Gold below 43.03. That's going to be a problem. Ooh, sheesh. Sheesh. I heard that that big whale had actually closed out that short position yesterday. I don't know if he in it or if he's out of it or what's happening. And people are saying it's barren. I don't know. I don't know. Everybody's piling into the short. I guess it wouldn't hurt to be in a short, huh? Yeah, I don't care what time frame it's on. It all looks, yeah, like straight. Like, look at that. Just flat line. It's flat. sorry. It look like we're quickly coming down into that level. Jeez. Yes, we can say that we have met that head and shoulders here in just a bit. About 103, 354. What do I have on that? Read on that. Let me see why. I mean, that's going to be where we got that drop. That's going to be, let's see. I got a read on that. I got a line in here. I think I see why I have it in here too. So let me just, I think I have it in here because, let me just see. I think it's because of this. It might be because of that. Oh, this is the index, so it's not gonna. Probably. I don't think this is the index. No. Yeah, this is the index chart too. So. I never paid attention to the fact that that was about what we had hit. Um, that 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 Tuesday. I never paid attention to that. So now I did have a little line in here, but that was for 103. So all right, so we did that measure move right there. Get rid of that. Let me see one more thing. Since that was uh, from 1 month. I'll stick with it for now. Let's see what that was. This is rough. This is really rough. Let me tell you over here on gold chart, gold starts to find itself in a little bit of a pickle. Right now it's holding up above this, but around this 4303, if gold was to drop below this level right here, then it's pretty much guaranteed that I'll probably see it somewhere down here around 4255. And if that didn't hold, then back here around this 2, um, gold could find itself back down into here. Right now, I don't really like this chart on the 15-minute time frame for gold, but yeah, I just kind of watched that right there. So I lined it out in red, and then not the biggest deal, but yeah, mess around and come down here and lose this right here though, then it's at risk of coming back down. At some point, it's going to lose this 2 altogether. And when it does that, I'll be looking all the way down here for starters. Maybe it takes a hit today too, for whatever reason. I know we didn't hear anything significant out of that meeting last night. Just, you know, IVF treatment, which is a great thing, but nothing, nothing that was, we were all expecting to hear. USD JPY down 0.23%. And gold USD is down 0.48%. So, yeah. Gold might take a hit today. Oh, I showed you. Where we at? I think it's supposed to be my daily chart. I remember when we were talking about this squeeze in here. Got it on the monthly chart too, so I know we're going to be at some point like really rolling over into that bear. We got it on the monthly. I was trying to pay attention to this little tilt up top. That might have been that move that we had got up into here. I'm not sure. That little tilt in there. The only thing that's different right here, right now, is money flow. That's the only thing. Money flow is different. It was green every time, and it's not green. I mean, money flow's been going out since back here. Since here, since we took out that high, it's been going out, but it's still typically green with that squeeze, and I don't see it. Like it was green in here when it had the squeeze, and we had that. So we were red, we had the squeeze, and money flow was green, and then that was that sell off. It was red. We had the squeeze, and money flow was green, and that was that sell off. We're red. We got the squeeze. We don't have any green on money flow. I think we did it every other time in here too. We got the squeeze. Yeah, we got the squeeze. You can't really tell it, but it's above that dashed line in here. You can tell it from here. And then the money flow is green. It's not like that this time. I'm trying to find a reason. It's not like that this time on the monthly. So I don't know. That's the only missing element. Oh, I'm like, why is nothing showing up, and why do I not see that zone in here? Because that's the blowfin chart. I thought it was weird. I'm like, why do I not see it like this? And this, because that was what I was like, why don't I see this? This is what I was talking about when I was saying at 103. Like, I had a line in here for 103. I can't remember. Um, this has changed. That's not the one that I had just plotted in here. This is the one I just plotted in here. It's way different than that blowfin chart, that's for sure. That blowfin chart, this was below. Was that not below there? Oh, wait, I couldn't see it. That's right. Duh. Duh. Take that away, though. I can see them. Go through that. Take that away. Oh man, what a day. Check back in on Ethereum, breaking below. Just breaking below here. It is on the daily time frame at the moment. Push it out to the 4 hour since that candle closed in about an hour and 18 minutes. Solana still holding up pretty good. It could be worse. easily dropping in a little bit more. Zcash still holding pretty strong. Still holding pretty strong. XRPZ, Litecoin. Oof, 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 oof. END. There's definitely some resilience at that support level too. And some resilience. I don't even. I haven't looked at data. Lost this right here. And so this is what you have. It's not doing that. That was bad right there. Jeez. I mean, 53 to 48, and if not that, then I just instantly just look back down around that 37. Not looking great. That's pump ass leg right there, ain't it? We have to be on the lower time frame to see the vision for pump. I wouldn't be in any of those right now. Pump, Aster. I mean, circulating supply. I don't even think they have a third of that on the market right now. Whatever that was at that point, that ain't happening. No. Mm. It's really a waste of time looking at any of this stuff right now. All right, H bar. Not bad, especially since that nuke down there. Not bad. We came back for a back test, it seems, of what could have been a great pattern. You know that this was one of the best performing assets, XLM. This was one of the best performing assets. TRX, they took the cake though, but XLM right behind that, like that was XLM held ground. It did freaking good. Good. Pretty strong, man. It's pretty good, XLM. We'll see if it can't hold that range again. That's down to 27.36. That was like, look at that. Forget about that. You want to see it hold that low across here. It comes back in that low. And nothing outperformed this one. Tron. Bounce on Bitcoin. I'm still not interacting with that cloud just yet, so just going to ignore the little bounce in there. I didn't realize virtual went that low. We gotta look at the other day. I might have. I just know it doesn't have a lot of zones in here. Besides this one and this down here, and this one has like three zones. And went to the very last one. So it's on a push back down and take that away now. So I could reject it somewhere around it. Stayed in this little area right here for the longest. And she wants to see it hold in here again. Probably actually buy some spot position a little bit. Maybe. A lot of this stuff just isn't worth buying though. I don't have anything in there for data. Objective. Look like I should have moved this up. Too late now. I just want to see that. Yeah, I should have moved that up. Madness. Dang. That's why I usually try to draw off of the line bias. I slipped that time. There's a huge volatility range in here. That's a bad token. Injective. I sold it before all of this, actually, so I had just sold it just in time because that's not good. That got nuked straight through. Yeah, that's not good. Actually, want to see it hold if it came back into it. And that's not a good chart at all. I had sold OP2. I had closed out the long leverage position that I had on it while I was still in a little bit of profit on it when the first tweet from Trump came out. That's not a good one either. That's terrible. Ooh. Wow. I guess we can identify the bad tokens like that. Please don't be like that. Please don't be like that. Okay, it's not. Thank goodness. Near. Probably doesn't have enough, yeah. It's not been there long enough. Yeah. All of these are bad. I bought this one though. I bought Tia. I don't know how long it's gonna take for that to play out, but I bought Tia. I'm just gonna wait. AVAX. I said multiple times that AVAX was gonna be a good performer this go round. And then we were looking at it on this weekly chart. I think it was this weekly chart. Yeah, we're looking at it on the weekly chart, and I said, this is a problem. That dent, that push up right there, that typically indicates something bearish. And sure enough, see if we can see it over here. It was from that weekly where I saw that at. That was just not going to do right. I think Near had did the same thing. Um, it did. It turned away, and that's usually a bad sign when it turns up. It's a capital rotation, and I saw that, but I'm still feeling good about Near, but that's not good. That's not good at all. At all. At least Dot doesn't look like that, but Dot, oof, I know that I probably would have did something like that. It's still holding within this falling wedge, so I don't know. That pretty much matches up with that lower line in here. Delete the rest of it. Bitcoin, a little small bounce. I'm gonna look back at this Bitcoin chart to see if we're making some attempt at this momentum shift. We're still not quite there yet. We just had that 1 hour candle close. Let me take this off. This is supposed to be 1 hour. Because what I'm saying to you that this is a weak low off of this daily time frame, it should recover back inside here. And from here, if it's gonna get a bounce back up, it'll happen from in here. But it should recover back into this yellow zone in here. Preferably back up above the weekly level in here. If I'm right about the daily, but you won't see it until we actually get the daily close, because it will be based on the daily close for today. Recovery should be back above. I want to just say the yellow, but to feel more secure, I'm just going to have to say the 105. 105,912. We should be back up above that line come daily close. And then from there, possibly see a bounce up. We will encounter all of the resistance across here, no doubt. All of that resistance. So I'm actually going to put that back. That's what we should see happen by the end of the day. Should be back up there. Won't even have bullish divergence on this just yet either. And the thing here too, without dang. Oh, that could be the start. Once we make contact with this, and we do get that next pullback, that could be the start of the bullish divergence coming in off of the 15-minute time frame. As you know, we don't have any right now. Not based on this. Maybe we have something down lower. Yeah. I mean, yeah, we got some momentum divergence here on the 15-minute time frame. Had just came in off of that low right there. So we do have bullish divvies in here now on momentum. Then we'll probably print some off of this right here. After it taps into that and does another pullback, probably pop some momentum, bullish divergence off of this one. This one doesn't actually have it. And that's a start. see. It's a nice move on Zcash. Nice little move on Zcash. Let's see. Okay, I didn't even look back over here. That resistance I mentioned, the top here on USDT, you can see how we tapped that, and then we start to get that rejection in here too. So hopefully that, hopefully that sustains. But rejection there, rejection there, rejection there. Hopefully that sustains. Just a little bounce, a little bounce. If it doesn't, I mean, we got problems. This has a little bit of symmetry. Let's see. I'm just gonna take a look at it, but I wouldn't be wanting to see that by any means. See. See how that goes. But right now that good little rejection right there. Speak too soon. We do still will be expecting a pullback to start to put in some bullish divergence off of this QTD. It's a starter. It's First time the MACD got above the zero, got above the signal line, and the delta above the zero line in here as well. Since back over here also. And then cloud cover, the accelerated sell, back above, bull div, push through, rejection at the weekly low. I was looking at that 16 hour. We'll put it on the daily for a second. Actually, I put it on 4 hour. That's a little less noise. It has something to do with this line right in here, though, and not this one right here at the moment. But if I let me change this line in here anyway. I'm gonna do it like that. I should stretch it like that. This one is meaningful though. It's actually, let's see that. I had that for a minute. It should have been like that. Catch the early move. It should have been like that. But right here on the 16 hour, you can see that we're basically, I mean, in this bearish zone in here. But you can see how those trend lines down through there, how they sync up to show you validity of your breaks, of your momentum shifts to the upside. So just like in here, this one ran parallel to the 20 SMA for that breakdown. This one ran parallel to the standard deviation 1 for your break up. This one ran parallel to your standard deviation 1 for that breakdown. And then this lower one right here ran parallel, well, not parallel, but you can see how it flipped below the 20 SMA right in here. So if you didn't want to use Bollingers or anything like that, just, I mean, your line bias is really, really good. So I always like to use it a lot to draw trend lines anyway. And now this one right here, once you see a breakup, if you're back on your 4 hour and you're just drawing your trend line across there, and there's nothing down here for me to draw anything off of. So I just have to look at horizontals right now. A lot of people, I'm beating a dead horse saying this again, but a lot of people will draw from, it's okay if it's like pivots, like larger pivots like that, but like I wouldn't take the trend line and draw it from here. Like that's not, that doesn't indicate a pattern. It doesn't indicate a pattern at all. because patterns are formed when price action gets trapped between support and resistance. That's all it is. Price action is trapped between support and resistance. So it's whatever's happening in current price action, not all the way back over here to your left, unless it's a larger pivot like that, but not like in the middle of a move. You don't go in here and draw a trend line and be like, oh, look at that bull flag. You don't go in and do this. You don't do that. That's wrong in my opinion. Let me just say that I wouldn't do it like that. It doesn't make sense to me, because pattern is based on price action being trapped between support and resistance. So when I'm reading the chart, is price action currently trapped between any support and resistance? Not back here, because whatever happened over here, it broke through whatever that resistance was. I don't need to look over here. I need to look at what's happening in current price action. Is it getting trapped in between support and resistance and creating a pattern over here? So right now, I don't have a low. It's rejecting resistance, but I don't have anything that shows it's getting trapped by support or it's catching the support other than horizontal lines right now. Just wanted to throw that out there. I'm just double checking because it's not perfect, but it's not terrible. One hour's coming up now. Let's see if I could have did 30 minutes. No, not 30, but 7. 7 would have hit us up way faster. 7 right there. I always still be looking for that pullback though, because yeah. 15, 30 hit it. I like that 30. I like this 30-minute chart. It's not ready yet, but I still like it. And I did post on the squeeze that was in here for that breakdown, but I didn't post it on X. I posted it on CoinMarketCap. It's a nice little candle. That was a nice candle. See how we do on the pullback. And this should be the point where we start to create bullish divvies off of here. Right. All right, Bitcoin is the number one trender again. That's cool. It is the number one trending on CoinMarketCap once again. Situation over here with gold again. And it could have changed in here a little bit to where it's already breaking, but this was what I was looking at 4303. So if it loses that, it increases the probabilities of hitting this 4255. If this doesn't end up being the bounce zone, then has some high chances of this too again. At some point it will literally lose this. Right now it is super duper strong. Super duper strong. And that is what I keep my eyes on here for gold. It either wants to respect, don't do me like that. Either wants to respect here and get that bounce up, or it wants to come down into here. And it could change its mind midway. Could just break below that, or whatever bouncing it gets done doing, you could end up down here. Yeah. That's my thoughts for today on gold. And you want it to hold here. But seriously, at some point, this is going to be a done deal. It's going to be all underneath there at some point. When it's ready to start a true reversal, you're not going to keep holding to. I'm just not going to do it. Leaves. Yeah, I started to sell that silver. I think I am. I didn't get that much anyway. I got the ETF also. But all right, Bitcoin. I know we're gonna reject. We're just stalling out right here, right now. But like I said, we could start to put in the bullish divvies in here at this point on this indicator. See, 1 hour did not confirm any change of behavior. That's what I tend to call it, a change of behavior. But it's coming together, people. It's coming together. Still in that squeeze here on the 1. See if it dropped anymore. Ugh, I don't like that. Every time you think, yeah, I don't like that. It's definitely, a lot of shorts wanting to continue to come in here. You're not invited, shorts. You're not invited. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I don't think we have anything in here. I don't think we have anything in here just yet. Check back in about 22 minutes. So it doesn't look like anything in here specifically, but we'll see. Yeah, every time you get a little move, I hate that. But we'll be looking to see if we don't hold in here. And this would be great. Let's see, low here. I expect for us to break below that. It is where your 20 SMA is sitting at. I expect for it to break below that. But here, that would be great. If not, then I guess I have to look back at the low in here, but really banking on this. Let's see. Yeah. making a nice little reaction off of that gold. Even if I wanted to take it, I couldn't take it right now. I couldn't take it right now if I wanted to. It is defensive zone. It is a very defensive zone. Oh boy. No, you know what? I took a couple of small trades in here. Thought I deleted them all. I think it was this squeeze. It was a squeeze in here. It wasn't this one because I actually went long on that and then I sold it. And then I sold it because I figured we were not going to break back into this cloud or up above it. So that was it. I will be ending the stream at 8 o'clock. I think I've covered the things to watch for in here. Some of those charts. Gold is squeezing on the 15-minute now. That's interesting. If I could, I probably would trade this. I just can't. I don't think I ever seen a squeeze on it on the 15-minute. Not from the lows. Actually, the last time was back in on the 9th of October. It did that. Yeah, the 9th of October. So you can see right here around this level I mentioned to you, you can see it's turning green in here. So it is starting to squeeze right here on this 15 minute. If I could take it, I probably would. Probably would take a chance on it right here, but I can't take it. And like I said, the last time it did that, it was here. That was the last time it did it in here. It did get one more push over, and then it got the bounce. But yeah. Let's see what happens with that level. Interesting. Yeah, I think I've covered everything that I needed to cover here for Bitcoin. That's really what you need to focus on. Bitcoin, Bitcoin dominance, and USDT dominance. Those would be my three to really pay attention to. Nothing important is taking place today. Unless we get a surprise tweet. I don't see where we have a speech from Trump or anything like that. Not today. It really is too many people piling into gold. That bubble's gonna pop. That bubble is going to pop. Way too many people. All right, we're starting to break that little zone, that little level on gold. It was important too. It's the whip right now. Let me see. Oh yeah. Yeah, I took this one off of the 1 hour. Was it a 1 hour? I think I took it off of the 1 hour, but it did move up. So it doesn't matter. It's broken now. Then you'd be looking down around at 42.55, which might change slightly, but I still keep that number in mind. On goal. Hold on. Let me see. Yeah. Alright, no, that's still the same. It's at 43.03. Yeah. Yeah, it is breaking it though. All right, about 6 minutes. I just want to thank anyone who stopped by to check in, see what I was looking at here on the chart. Really appreciate you. Appreciate you for hitting the like button as well. Help spread the content. I'm just a small channel, or the Coin King channel is just a small channel, and I am here giving my support to the channel. He's giving me much support, so if you don't mind just hitting the like button, that goes a long way. Um, if you like the content, you can always subscribe. Right now, I'm just asking that you hit the like button to help support the channel. You know, I appreciate it. I don't want to get tired of doing it because I'm not gonna get tired of reading charts, but I could get tired of the streaming, especially if it doesn't seem like it's making an impact. Then why do it? One thing you will find here is I do not come on and repeat rhetoric that other YouTube channels will regurgitate. It's just not me. I do have a desire to add more content to the show, but right now it is rather difficult because without having a team and just being myself, for me, that's going to be rather difficult because my main thing is really the technical analysis. Um, but I would like to expand on the content of the show. I did not take a look at Chainlink today. I do want to see that chart before I depart. So I'm going to do it from over here. You can see just kind of rejecting right here off of the what was the range low or that daily low right here. So this was that daily low. So you just back at that daily low from over here right now. Back at the uh, trend line break here. Again, it'd be really strong for it if it does manage to reclaim back in it. Then I would absolutely invalidate this right here. Um, Yeah, I would absolutely invalidate this. It is based on the daily chart, though. Just keep that in mind as you're looking at it, too. Chainlink, because I did not look at it. Or did I? I really didn't. I'm trying to get my order filled on Chainlink. It gets filled right down here. So I'm buying a little bit more right there. And if it starts to get in here, I'm buying. I'm buying. I did set a limit order for the weekly level right there. And that's basically where the buying would end. Probably right here, $9 the buying would end if it were to do something like that. If it fills my order right now, it's running. We can see that in here. Sorry. Chainlink. Oh gosh, I'm so hungry. I actually had breakfast, but I'm hungry. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Look at that. It's a 15-minute chart, but gold lost that level. And see, if I'd have did it off of the 15-minute time frame, it would have been the break in here. It would have been the break right here at this line. But I didn't. I decided to push it out to just kind of see, but it is highlighting up in here. And this again would be the next zone in here. I think this one came from 4 hour. 42.55. I think that came from a 4 hour time frame. And then, like I said, then you'd be looking down here at the 42.02. If for some reason it came in here and it did not manage to hold in here, but this is where the bubble pops at. I'm not saying that it pops today or anything like that. I'm just saying, like, at some point you're gonna stop. You're gonna get underneath here and you're not gonna get back above it. At some point, that's gonna happen. It might not be this number anymore. Maybe this changes or something like that. But at some point, you're just going to get underneath here and you're not going to come back. You're going to come back, you're going to reject off of it, and then you're going to be rolling over because it's too many people. It's a good, I mean, if you want to make some money right now, you pretty much just throw some money in here and you make it, so it'll get tired at some point. I'm not telling you that that's going to be today. I'm just saying that it's something to be aware of. Something to be aware of. For now, it's strong, but just potential entries for today. It's just, if it looks different later on, I'll post on it. You can see, let's see, down here. Let me change this back. One hour, actually. You can see right there where your MACD flip bearish on you on your 1 hour. It's right there. Which is why I chose to go off of the breaking point, potentially to break this structure in here on the 1 hour. You could potentially break it. Bitcoin trying to sustain. All right, it's 8:05 now. Let me just check this 4-hour chart again. This one, see, it's a nice candle right there. That was a nice candle right here on the 1 hour. Nice candle here on the 4 hour. At least it's showing a little bit of exhaustion on the downside, or fight back from the bulls a little bit. Some hopium. That hopium coming in. All right. Let me just see what that looks like. Okay. So that's what it looks like. It looks like at some point you could be looking for a break above this trend line right here. Potentially find resistance in here unless you start to get a squeeze in here somewhere. You'd be looking for that breakout aside from the squeeze that you have in here right now. So do notice some sort of a bounces on the table, just how long it takes for it to play out. That's going to be the thing. But definitely once you find momentum above, your momentum shifts above this trend line right here. And again, that's just line bias. And once you move away in here, then you can start to plot a line across your low, which will be kind of cute. I take that one, and then you don't have it right now, but if you do break momentum in here, then you can do another line across the low. You can't do it right now. At least I wouldn't. I wouldn't do it right now. You haven't defined anything yet. You want to wait and see where you get trapped. So, if in the event you can be premature, you can be premature and do something like that. And define your wrong color. And define your zone like this. But it's more relevant once you do break this momentum. It's more relevant. And then you could say that was a pivot. And price action is trapped between here until that decision is made. That break again, lose momentum again down here, and continue the trajectory to the downside or do that break to the upside, possibly come in. It's a little bit too high. It's a little bit too high though. Yeah, I wouldn't be looking at that. I'm not saying it can't. Just trying to see if maybe that had any merit. It doesn't. All right, that's it for me. I appreciate you. I love you, and I will see you. If things start to get bad. Otherwise, you'll hear from me on X because I know it's the weekend now, and I don't stream on the weekends, but I'll pop my little head in here if need be. I appreciate you. Thank you for hitting the like button, and I will see you if it's urgent today or on Monday. But I'll catch you up on X or on CoinMarketCap at Down to Crypto TA.